So today's topic is how to change our very difficult times, the difficult times into excellent opportunities. Because in Buddhism, we call Dharma as not something to believe in, but something to learn to help us to transform. It's just like a remedy. When we have the understanding of the Dharma, and we have understanding of our mind, and we have understanding of why the things appear to us, why things present things to us, whether it's people in your life, or whether it's circumstances or some situations, events, or something like this pandemic, so we might say world is going through a very difficult time, for instance. So Dharma is a medicine. So the medicine is only useful. Medicine is very, very useful to apply where there is the illness or problem. So Dharma being the medicine to apply in difficult times. If you have your Dharma up your sleeves, what is Dharma that can help you to make the difficult times an excellent opportunities? You have to first of all have Dharma. So Dharma means the teachings, the way to practice generosity, way to practice self-discipline, way to practice tolerance, way to practice forgiveness, way to practice acceptance, way to practice diligence, way to practice our mindfulness and awareness, a way to employ wisdom if we have anything. But so the Dharma are the various kind of resources. The Buddha got enlightened after he overcame all his difficulties. It's enlightenment is dispelling all the darkness. The light is only light. The light's amazing. Street lights amazing because they come to light as soon as the darkness comes. Then they are only light. But otherwise they are just a bit of a kind of a eyesore in the middle of the street. We have all these poles in the street. Looks very, very unsightly. But in darkness, when it becomes dark, then the light becomes amazing, and then there is a great use. So Dharma is light, you see. So therefore, how to change the darkness or very, very difficult times. What are the difficult times that you might say that you are struggling in your life? You can relate that in your mind. And what is it that we are not turning the difficult times into excellent opportunity, but making even more difficult, So people who don't have the Dharma or wisdom, any of the above things I mentioned, they usually react to it, to the difficulties or difficult time as something that is independently out there, and they react to it. So this the one who doesn't have the excellent doesn't know how to change the difficult times and excellent opportunities are those who have not learned anything. So therefore one needs to learn the Dharma. Dharma is, they say, if you learn the Dharma, you will develop wisdom. So therefore Dharma has a learning wisdom, contemplating wisdom, and meditative wisdom. So when you learning means reading, studying, listening to talks and teachings, and reading books, and accessing many teachings. And so you first of all must know the Dharma, must know the way. We learn so many things. And all of these things, what we know is if somebody knows something, it's not because they can make things work, but they become better in the field of study if they know how to to shoot down the trouble. So they call how to troubleshoot. If you can shoot the trouble, then you really know the fields very well. So because difficult times are not really something universally affecting everybody uniformly, but it affects individuals differently. That shows that how individuals are placing themselves either to be vulnerable or very offendable, or those who are not. So those who are able to transform the difficult times into excellent opportunities are those who have learned the Dharma and then not only believe them, follow them blindly, like some cultural Christians or cultural Buddhists. Most people are religious zealot because they are culturally attached to that, and they actually don't know the teaching. They haven't studied the teaching, let alone contemplating it. They just blindly believe and follow that. We are not talking about here that those people who actually not only have heard and studied the teaching, have themselves contemplated, investigated, and made them, and they have checked carefully whether this way that the Dharma teaches is giving them the actual skill and a tool that empowers them to change, that empowers them to change the circumstances. So that's called the wisdom derived from contemplation. After you have the Dharma, you have heard or learned some concepts and ideas, and then you have actually digested them very well. The Dharma that you know, so assuming that you have studied some, assuming that you have learned from authoritative sources and you have studied them thoroughly, not just some people just learn so little and try to teach others or write something on it or like that. One has to study it thoroughly, and until it has really shifted you in your mind, that Dharma has completely changed you as a person. So through contemplating, so it is changing your ideas, behaviors, and making you a lot more generous, a lot more kinder, a lot more forgiving, a lot more tolerant, a lot more able to change your ways, things very easily. When you have contemplated the Dharma very well, and then you will have you should also be the person who also meditate. Meditate means actually pay attention to it and stay with the teachings, not just form of the teachings, but always with the teachings. Even you may not be in a kind of formally doing so many things that sometimes you do. Occasionally we do in socially and as a community, but formally you may not be able to position to do the Dharma, but your mind is totally soaked by the Dharma, and so therefore your knowledge of the Dharma is so well oiled. Your machines of the body, mind, speech are not rusting, but they are well oiled by the Dharma, and so then you will have the power to transform all the difficult times into excellent opportunities. The reason why people do not know what to do when they face difficulties, and they externalize them. Person who has an excellent opportunity, who turns the difficult times an excellent opportunity, is who has completely overcome his own inner demons within themselves. Say the night before Buddha attained enlightenment, Buddha was attacked by he had the most ferocious moment, being attacked by the most powerful demons came to wage war on him. And you would call that as the most challenging time that Buddha faced, the night before he attained enlightenment. But because Buddha was so well briefed on these things, he did not see these things as a difficult time. He saw that as an excellent opportunity to unleash his own inner wisdom. So therefore, what makes difficult times transformable, changeable to excellent opportunity is when you have the wisdom derived from this study, contemplation, and meditation. So that's why, therefore, it is good to formally study formally read and then contemplate and study, and be always studying something, studying something useful to your well-being, your spiritual and emotional well-being. Lots of people studying so that they can they upskill their knowledge in some external fields of study, which gave them a kind of a new skill to make a earning or make a little side income. Even those things, people who are studying, people who have to study all the time to keep themselves updated in their own fields of study. Even that then empowers them to be up there in the same level as others, to be able to handle the problems. Here we're talking about having the Dharma that actually is completely helps you to grow and unfold and change as a person, and who is not stuck in his past, and therefore he or she is always get back in the same square one position of the problem they used to have, because they have never tackled difficult times as excellent opportunities. So therefore, how do you transform excellent difficult times, excellent opportunity? What are the difficult times? For instance, you can have illness, you can have loss, you can have people in your life. Some people die in your life. Other people turn their back on you because they think that they are too good to be part of you. People can do that also. So these are you could call them as difficult times, challenging times. People say bad things about you, or do nasty things to you, and totally quickly snap off and doesn't want anything to you, or you are fired from a job, or you are hit with serious health issues, or financial issues, or say loss of a loved one who died. So these are examples of difficult times, yeah, or something like this pandemic, which is a collective difficulties. So firstly, all the difficulties, according to Buddhist teachings, if you have studied Dharma, all the difficulties are a result of one's karma, one's own action. One does not face difficulties unless difficulties are an effect of wrongdoings, unskillful doings, and so therefore, even when we talk about the pandemic as a difficult times of the world, like of course it is a really collective difficulties, crisis in the world where everybody is isolated from each other, can't go to work, can't go here or there, not just 1 or 2 days, for whole 2 months this phase. So for instance, if you look at this example, even though it's a collectively really very dark moment of the world it is bringing, but how individuals have transformed those situations into a very creative way, if those who have, and then those who are able to overcome the difficulties with a skillful way, they found excellent. It has taught us many things. That shows whether we have the tenacity and resilient how to cope with the difficulties, how to firstly change our attitude. The difficulties are whatever personal difficulties you are going through. We should see them as has its own causes. We are directly contributed to it, or indirectly contributed to it. Otherwise, we wouldn't be affected by the difficulty. But even though there is one major difficulty, but it is not affecting every individual uniformly. Some people are not as negatively harmed by it as much. Others are severely harmed. So that shows there is no uniform effect by one collective difficulties. So it is. So that shows individuals have certain karmic disposition to face those. Those who do not know how to transform challenge in difficult times into excellent opportunities, opportunity, it becomes really difficult time. Because firstly, it's a result of their own karma. They may not remember those causes they created, but obviously it's a result of something they did in the past, or however long ago. Maybe past could be a couple of years, a couple of months, could be anything in the past, or as far as unforeseeable past. We don't talk unforeseeable future past, but we could not see the past. We can't see even the future, let alone the past. We can't even see the present. That's the problem when we have difficult time. The one who has excellent can transform excellent difficult moment times into excellent opportunity are those who can see the present. They can see the present state of attitude of their own mind in relation to the effect that they're facing past. The experience they're going through is the effect of the past. So they should know that, but yet they should make sure that how the present mind is reacting to it, responding to it, will determine the outcome. So the past, whatever effect things have happened, has the effect is already finished. But how we will grow or let it defeat us, it depends to our own fitness or lack thereof. People who don't have the kind of wisdom derived from study and contemplating and meditation will be defeated by the difficult times, and they will still externalize them. Not only they are defeated by it, it has caused a huge dent on them, but they have even reacted even more poorly to make it many times worse. So that's why that becomes a catastrophe. But those people who have the knowledge and wisdom to deal with that, how to excellent opportunity for a Buddhist point of view, or as a person who has a certain kind of spiritual or some kind of dignity to observe certain motto of life, say kindness and tolerance and responsibility and acceptance and self-discipline. If they have a few of these even secular ethical kind of component in their life, they would see how they are about to react that can change the outcome of the effect. Because the effect is not just always an effect. Effect can instigate a cause. If we are able to transform the difficult moments, difficult times into excellent opportunity, so then the difficulty become a catalyst to bring the best out of us. They say, worst situation, but best response. There are no best situations that will always stay best anyway. Best in comparison to what? Yeah, difficult times in relation to lack of your stamina and wisdom, not knowing what to do. Then it's difficult. Then you're cursed by the past karma, and past karma is become exacerbated by a lack of any clarity, any discipline, any goodness in us. So the excellent opportunity that is presented before is very, very poignant insofar as our having the fitness to practice, for instance, to accept it as a karma, effect of the past. As soon as you accept it, the difficult time becomes cause of our growth and cause of our humility, cause of our own commitment to practice altruism, selflessness, patience, forgiveness, and therefore acceptance. When we are denying the difficulties, when we are resisting the difficulties, we are rejecting the difficulties, we are going to make the difficulties even more to persist. So all things are impermanent. Remember, all things, even difficulties, are impermanent, and maybe even more transformative. It will change us in a way that we never knew was possible to change. If we knew how to cultivate the remedies. Remedies are no remedies. Remedies are developed in the face of difficulties. Remedies are not ready-made kind of antidotes. Remedies are usually best developed as you face those difficulties. When the Buddha conquered the Maharas, who was so violent against him, he practiced loving kindness. He practiced compassion. So if you are having difficulty with somebody being difficult to you, or accusing you, abusing you, harming you, or whatever they appear to be doing, you should feel compassion to them. You should feel, if you develop compassion to them, saying what must be like to be doing what they're doing, let alone doing it to you. So what must be like? They are going out of their own good spot to say bad things and do aggressive things and so on. You should feel compassion to them. Then your fitness to practice compassion is when somebody is suffering in relation to in relation to you. So if it's someone in your life that is so close to you, who are really, really difficult to you, who are disrespectful to you, who put down to you, who have not speaking to you, who turn their back to you, because they think you are a bit of a failure, you have a bit of a cause of shame for them, that is an excellent opportunity for you to see what must I've done that I'm attracting this kind of thing. I'm definitely sure I would have done similar things in the past to them, exactly that I'm now not willing to appreciate now. So it's very evident that we would have been aggressive and unfair and negative and abusive and to other people before. To think of that is a very great kind of wisdom. And then you realize they are just excellent, giving me the excellent opportunity to clean my own past mess that I have never knew that I had, and now from this is very evident. And whether it's not sign of weakness, it's not saying that you are so weak, they are so right, you're so wrong. You can never be wrong in accepting assumed wrong even by yourself. By doing that, it's called humility. By doing that, it's called. It also gives the other people some opportunity to not to be exacerbate, because if you are going to react and defend yourself as you're completely flawless and therefore but act as though you're full of wrath and anger, which some people do, then you have missed the plot. But if you are actually practicing forgiveness and compassion and then tolerance to the person and to the situation, then what have you done? What have you done is you have basically those difficult times that you have with someone, and now you see them as someone who is actually the messenger, who's just, you don't kill the messenger, the message was sent by yourself, so therefore one does not externalize, because when you are able to transform difficult times as excellent opportunity, then you are not deluded. When you are not deluded, you are able to transform the difficulties into excellent opportunity for yourself to give rise to increase your compassion, tolerance, and forgiveness, and humility. When you're doing that, you can only do these practices when you're faced with the difficulties. That these teachings are only teachings, not something to agree in the teaching lesson, not only to agree when you're reading the book, but actually to employ. You go to a cooking class or something, but you don't go to the cooking class just to learn to cook, but never cook. So actual opportunity to use the teaching is to transform those adversarial circumstances into excellent opportunity to overcome your own neurosis, your own weaknesses, your own ego, your own pride, your own sort of a lack of tolerance, your own intolerance, your own kind of vindictiveness. These things becomes excellently manifestly showing that how disrespectful you are to, say, your father, or to, say, your friend, or to, say, your whoever they are, if they are presenting some difficulty to you, you think they like to do that on their own, they have a lot of karmic causes, conditions in them too, poor thing, on top of what they think is something to do with you. So therefore, when you accept that, you're not exacerbating them. You're not going to react with aggression with aggression. You're going to practice loving kindness, and you have the mindfulness to be able to practice mindful loving kindness when somebody is actually behaving exactly opposite to loving kindness. Maybe they're very harmful. They're saying bad things to you. Maybe they're hurting someone you love. But you know that the only way to remedy that is goodness of practicing forgiveness and acceptance. Because as soon as you are able to do that, then your dharma is the medicine, remember? What you thought, what you did is the right thing to do. No, most people need advice because they don't know what to do when they appear someone is doing this to you, and they usually think they can correct the person, prove them wrong, and convict them wrong, and then you will have this amazing sweet victory thereafter. No, it's called vicious cycle. This kind of trying to punish others, try to engage in a punitive measure, try to prove them wrong, as we can't have people like this in my life, and I want to make whole world know he's like that. This kind of that's not even Buddhist. This, I don't know whether it's a Christian or not, because definitely people always trying to resort to that kind of retaliation, try to punish somebody, and even think they're punishing somebody is some amazing thing to do. That's making the difficult become more vicious cycle. It will going to repeat. Look at all these ongoing conflicts in the Middle East and various parts of the world, or between people to people, that are not resolving because they missed the excellent opportunity to practice loving kindness, forgiveness, and acceptance, and egolessness, and have the discipline to be kind to yourself and to kind to them and to kind to the future, to have to secure friendship in the future. Never mind if they said few things bad about you. It doesn't really matter. In the end, who are you? Let alone the problem. There is nothing really terrible about them saying bad things about you. If you look within yourself, it's pretty identical what you are likes. The way you're reacting to them pretty much shows that you lack some goodness. If you have goodness, transform those difficult moments with the very values and precepts and teachings that you believe. You don't use the teaching to attack anyone. You use the teaching to teach yourself to transform. That is the excellent opportunity. That is transforming all the difficulties. And how do you know that you have dealt the difficulties into excellent opportunity? You no longer talk, poor me, I went through this, they did this, they did that. You don't talk as though someone did this to you and you went through all these difficulties. There's no poor me, There's no longer there. Why? You have turned them into excellent opportunity not to say poor me, but instead of making yourself pitiful, you said, this is an excellent opportunity for me to overcome my own selfish demons, So, when did the Buddha become Buddha? When he overcame all his maras, all the 4 maras he overcame, all the demons of his own demon, he overcame and on the night of the onslaught by the 4 maras, then at the dawn he got enlightenment, And how did people like Gandhi, Dalai Lama, Nelson Mandela, where did these amazing figures emerge? When they went through all difficulties, Both Gandhi and Nelson Mandela went into prison. And most difficult times. His Holiness Dalai Lama, exiled, He's labeled by the communist China as a wolf, a monk in the wolf form or something like that, whatever people call him, for instance. Did these figures inflame those opponents? No, they actually looked within their own mind, and they still promote peace, tolerance, humanity, compassion, forgiveness, and one human being, one whether they people are religious or not, we are all one world, we are one human being, we must work for peace together. These people who were turned their very darkest moment into excellent opportunities. Excellent opportunity. There will be lots of inspiring people how they turned the most difficult moments, and how they, instead of losing themselves to those difficult moments, how they rediscover and discover something new in themselves. Those people who are limping and talking always bad things that people did to them, they will never be able to overcome that. They will keep limping, and they will start losing even the leg if they keep doing that. Those who have transformed difficult moments into excellent opportunity have actually heeded to the Buddha. Then that's the moment they said they must have actually beaten the iron while it's hot. Yeah. Excellent opportunity for the blacksmith is to use the hammer to hit when the iron is very hot. That's an excellent opportunity to shape the actual iron. If he wait until the iron become not loses heat, it's too late. So you have to hit the iron while it's hot. When you are being accused, you're put down, you've been ridiculed, you've been harmed, you've been ostracized, whatever people do to you, excellent opportunity to practice those things. Then you really have heard the Dharma. It's to think that you have no fault and others people are doing this to me, and then you're a bit of a victim of somebody, is no human being at all. Even dogs will do that. If someone throws stones at him, he will bark at him. So, but a human being must behave a little bit different than from dogs. If somebody throws rocks at you, you don't behave like a dog. You actually learn, why did they throw a stone at all, poor thing, and then feel compassion to them, and probably empower them not to throw again to anyone like that in the future, not by telling them why they threw the stone, but developing compassion and understanding how must have they lost their own mind and made it personally difficult, and then externalizing it. So that's why the practice of meditation, a practice of meditation, which is very important in Buddhism, even more important than the study. Even lots of people study Buddhism, read Buddhism, they memorize texts, and they have big piece of paper to hang on the wall that they got top mark or distinction or whatever. But these are not important. They don't feature very important in Buddhism. In the real Buddhism, scholarship is not so indispensable, but meditation is. Without meditation, Buddha would have not attained enlightenment. Milarepa wouldn't have enlightenment. So therefore, it's very important. There's a lot of lack of balance in Buddhism these days. People study so much, but they don't actually do the meditation. That's why when where they need to put the practice of tolerance, forgiveness, and compassion, they're not ready. They never are ready to practice compassion when they're never ready to practice kindness and forgiveness when they have to. And then they resort to violence with violence, aggression with aggression, and always pointing finger at somebody. These are people who have never actually heard, let alone listen, let alone meditated. Those who have meditated will actually come to know how to transform difficult moments as an excellent opportunity to develop those inner resources. These inner resources are cultivated through deep meditation. in the meditation, we begin to know how to see things as not as an object itself, but more like a reflection, projection of one's own mind. So one who meditates, he sees his mind rather than he sees things. Things are not really things. Things are just thought of yourself. So don't growl at your own reflection in the mirror on the angry face of yourself. So the others are just a reflection of your own self. If you know that, then you will not growl at the reflection. You will see the reflection as simply your mind, and the people are simply what you think they are, not what they actually are. That's very important. When you have that, then you will have opportunity to conquer your mind, and therefore not try to conquer other people, because other people, and that's where people who have not understood Buddhism, and they slip, and they again go back why they came into Buddhism in the first place. So therefore, Buddhism is a refuge from violence, from aggression, from intolerance, from self-righteousness, from arrogance. So if a person who understood Buddhism will try to use these antitheses of these as excellent opportunity to practice forgiveness, tolerance, generosity, compassion, and therefore wisdom in learning how to transform those difficult times, because difficult times are never written difficult, it's just that how long we stay dull and stagnant and stubborn, that's difficult. But how long was the night for the Buddha when he was attacked by the demons? No, it wasn't very long at all. Before the sun rose, he got enlightened. So when you can outperform the sun in terms of dispelling the darkness, that's enlightenment. So the excellent opportunity is when you can turn on the switch on the light when it's darkness starting to overwhelm you. Then it's really, then it's the street lights come on, since the street lights come on as soon as it's starting to become dark. In the winter, days are short, when dark, then the street lights come on early. Like that, you bring on your light of wisdom, that which knows the nature of things as they are, how transient they are, how selfless we used to act. We remember them in the face of the opposite in reality situation that we encounter. Then we are able to change the difficult times as excellent opportunities, and where we overcame quite a few demons of our own, and therefore we will be much more kind to our past and others who are not quite like that. And that way, then excellent opportunity can cause small awakenings in yourself. If many awakenings are culminated, then it can yield great result. So I would like to say also today is the first day, second day of the Sakadawa. The Sakadawa in Tibetan Buddhist calendar, a month that which commemorates Buddha's enlightenment, birth, and so on. Even though in the Theravada Buddhist tradition they celebrate that in the May full moon, mostly in Tibetan Buddhism it's a month later, exactly a month after. So every 3 years, then we also do the same on the full moon in May. But otherwise our calendar. So it's good for yourself if you're still in lockdown situation when you can't do much, still to boost your study and practice and meditation in this opportunity. We have quite a few students who are doing retreats, and some also writing me how they can best do the retreats. So you should also try to engage in some of the retreats that you know how to do, and at home try to boost the time to study study and meditate your practices. So that's what I want to say. So thank you very much. If please pass your comments or questions and those any requests of any particular topic, we will be able to respond to them accordingly. Thank you very much for joining. I'll do the dedication of merits. O zonande damje zibanye domne nyebe dana banjene yega na je balon drubaye sibe zolen drawan jo. By this merit may we overcome the defilements and gain omniscience. May we liberate all living beings from the ocean of birth, all death, sickness, and death. Hearing the Mahayana teachings, whatever merit we have accrued, may all living beings become stainless vessels to hold the Mahayana teachings. The courageous Manjushri knew all things, and Samandabhadra Buddha did likewise. Following all of the examples, I shall dedicate all these merits. May the excellent bodhicitta take birth wherever it had not yet done so. Where it has been cultivated, may it increase freely without degeneration. Thank you. See you next time.